Hey guys, welcome to Ghost Pirate Entertainment. My name is Kainan Becker, and here's 10 gruesome movies on Hulu. Just wanted to show that I am in support of wearing masks to try to help beat this thing. Alright guys, starting out this list at number 10, Candy Corn. Total indie type of movie. It's got a very grindhouse, old school type of feel. 80s, 70s slasher type of thing. One of the standouts for me was Pancho Moeller, who plays Dr. Death. He did an outstanding job. He's creepy. He feels real. He feels like he's talking directly at you, and it has this really badass feel about it. The practical effects are outstanding for such a low budget. Overall, it has a really dirty, grimy type of look and feel, and it gets pretty gory. But keep in mind, it's a small movie, very small budget, total indie type of flick. But if you're a fan of horror and grimy slasher, grindhouse type of stuff, I think you'll dig this. So number 10, Candy Corn. So coming in at number 9, Depraved. So Depraved is a modern day Frankenstein. They basically took the story of Frankenstein and they brought it into the modern day, giving it a more realistic feel, something that could actually take place now, but definitely with modern flair and brought into today's environment. But it's definitely worth checking out. It has some really standout acting, some really cool practical effects, like I said, so it's definitely worth a look. At number 9, Depraved. Number 8, Pyewacket. So Pyewacket is a very dark, very disturbing type of mental horror movie where you do see a little bit of supernatural stuff going on, but for the most part, most of the creep factor and most of what happens is stuff that's taking place off the camera, and it leaves you wondering throughout the whole movie if our lead characters are losing their minds, or if what's going on is real, or what it is that's going on, because like I said, you don't see it for most of the movie. And so it definitely has a really cool twisting ending, but it's very exciting throughout, very disturbing feeling throughout, lots of uncomfortable scenes. There's a couple scenes with the mother and the daughter that are just feel so real and are very uncomfortable. They really left me with this haunting feeling of something I could definitely relate to. Overall, it leaves you with this dark, black magic, filmy, dirty, layered feeling to it. So definitely, if you're into witchcraft, horror type of movies, definitely check out number 8, Pyewacket. Number 7, The House October Built. So I've been a huge fan of haunted houses ever since I was a kid. I remember some of my favorite haunted houses, though, were the ones that college students would put on, or churches, as funny as that sounds. Basically no money and having to use their imaginations and all these weird things they would come up with. And it always felt so much more real and so much more creepy to me when they were just low budget and didn't have a bunch of stuff from Spirit, basically. Well, that's what this movie feels like, and then it just goes up even further. You really don't know where this movie is going to take you, but it gets creepier and creepier, especially if you're someone who loves haunted houses and has gone to haunted houses most of your life. You definitely start to feel that creepiness from being able to relate to the situation. Number 7, House October Built. Number 6, Oculus. So Oculus is one of the fairly newer, like later 2000s horror movies that I really like a lot. I think it's definitely been underrated. It has a unique type of ghost story to it, to me. There's been, I don't know, so many possessed items or possessed this or ghost this and that. But to me, this one does it right. It definitely has some scares, but it just has a different feel overall about it. It's not the greatest haunted house horror movie type of thing ever made, but I like it a lot, and I definitely think it's a fun ride. Some pretty good acting, and just overall, a pretty chilling, pretty creepy story. So number 6, Oculus. Coming in at number 5, Urban Legend. Urban Legend is one of the early 2000s horror movies that I really like a lot. It's really just a fun, nostalgic type of horror movie at this point. For me, I was a young adult, but I know a lot of teens at the time that saw this. It was definitely meant for the teenagers, early 20s type of crowd. And so it has, like I said, the early 2000s PG-13-ish horror movies. I've always really liked the whole urban legends thing. I remember hearing a lot of those stories and legends growing up. It's just that fun early 2000s teenager slasher type of movie, but it has a few unique little quirks here and there. But overall, it's just a fun watch. It's not anything that's going to really scare you. Like I said, it's in that same vein as I Know What You Did Last Summer, Valentine. So at number 5, Urban Legend. Coming in at number 4, Scary Movies to Tell in the Dark. Scary Movies to Tell in the Dark is very cool. Teenager, takes you back, at least for me, growing up in the 80s. It took me back to that world in that late 70s, early 80s, even into the 90s feeling. And I mean, it's going to take most people back to when they were kids, running around trick-or-treating in the cold, getting harassed by bullies, but also that joy of hanging around with your friends and each other's costumes and getting candy, and just all of that fits right in there. All the other movies that really feel like they belong during the Halloween season. The detail that was done and the practical effects, even in the CGI that was used, is outstanding. The monsters in this are just some of the most well done monsters you will see in a horror movie. It is not extremely bloody, it's PG-13. So don't go into this looking for a gore fest. This one's just about fun and a little bit of a spooky type of feel to it, but this is a great one to watch with your 12, 13, 14-year-olds. But I feel like even if you're an adult, this is going to take you back to when you were young. So at number 4, Scary Movies to Tell in the Dark. Coming in at number 3, might be the one that I'm recommending the highest, even though it's not number 1, because I don't necessarily consider it the best movie on this list. It's the one I had the most fun with, the biggest surprise for me, because I was really not expecting it to be worth a damn. That's number 3, Wolf Cop. It is a blast with such a low budget, so little to work with. The acting is still extremely well done. The special effects are all practical effects, and they're outstanding. The wolf transformation in this is seriously one of the better ones I've seen. It takes you back to the Werewolf of London type of level of stuff. I mean, I'm not saying it's necessarily quite at that level, but with the budget they had to work with, I mean, it's just bloody and gruesome and just awesome. But it's just a fun, exciting type of movie. I really recommend it for those people that like movies to be campy but still have a little bit of scares and have some humor but also gore. This is a great one. At number 3, Wolf Cop. Number 2, Clove Hitch Killer. The Clove Hitch Killer is a haunting, mental fuck type of movie. It reminds me of a Silence of the Lambs type of thing. It's got a slow burn. It's definitely not as big of a movie as a Silence of the Lambs, so don't get me wrong. But it is a true crime type of horror. It's about a kid who starts thinking that maybe his dad could be a serial killer, and this whole windy and twisty story where he finds out some things that he thinks he knows are wrong and vice versa, and it just goes down this really weird, crazy rabbit hole. But oh my god, the Dylan McDermott, his acting in this is fucking brilliant. The teenage boy who plays his son is brilliant. Most of the movie is really just dialogue between the two of them, and there's so much discomfort at times with these conversations that they have, and it's just every time you think you know what's going on, it twists on you, and it's really just a great mental fuck type of movie. So if you're into true crime type of stuff and things to do with serial killers, this is a great one. At number 2, Clove, Hitch, Killer. You've made it. Good job. So before I sign off and tell you the last movie, I'd like to remind you to please hit the like button and please subscribe. Number 1, Invasion of the Body Snatchers. This is the 1978 version. I recommended before on one of my lists the 1950s version, which I really enjoy for what it is. But the 1978 Invasion of the Body Snatchers is definitely by far the best version of Invasion of the Body Snatchers. The acting is superb. The energy is great. I love the overall creepy vibe of it. The best thing about it to me is it has that similar thing that the movie The Thing has. Anxiety that grows from not knowing who you can trust and starting to have this distrust for everyone around you and feeling like you're losing control more and more. It's just one of the most creepiest narratives. It's definitely a classic horror / sci-fi movie. So I definitely recommend it. Number 1, Invasion of the Body Snatchers.